Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is episode 17 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration, and today we're basically picking off where we left off in the previous episode with our Minmus exploration lander. So in the previous episode we have successfully landed our small exploration lander to Minmus and gathered the data. So now we are going to the poles. If you remember, we have landed around equatorial area, and now we're following the waypoints which we defined were identified as good landing spots for exploring biomes via the ScanSat satellites. So this is actually our first inter-Minmus hop, and our destination is poles. By the way, if you were wondering which mods I'm using here, I'm using Umbra Space Industries Exploration mod for the capsule, and I am using also waypoints. I think it's Waypoint Manager, the mod called for creating these custom waypoints. And I'll use a whole of a lot of other mods. Look in my original post if you want more information. So now we're coming up on the actual first hop, grabbing quickly some science along the way. And I don't need to get to the actual waypoint. Rather, I'm just monitoring, keeping my eye on the biome and making sure that I'm landing on poles. So burning slightly to stop or arrest our vertical velocity and basically extend our hop by some degree, because we would be going anyway towards the other side, so might as well come as high as possible. And a little bit of Minmus rotation and a camera rotation is a little bit off-putting for me. It's kind of a little bit confusing trying to figure out how the camera rotates and stuff, but it doesn't matter. So now I have decided to land, and I arrested my vertical or my horizontal speed and getting ready for the descent. By the way, I think I'm showing the whole episode slightly accelerated. I think it's 2.5 times, so it's I still want it to be like a real episode and not too much accelerated, and otherwise it would be unwatchable. I was trying to cram everything in a single episode. It wasn't doable. So yeah. But anyway, I'm pointing my craft upwards just to use the stronger engines that I have to slow down, and then I'll just flip the craft horizontally for the final descent. I'll do that somewhere around 100 meter mark roughly. So first I kind of burn until I descend to a satisfactory degree, and then I just flip the craft and use the RCS thrusters to make sure that my vertical velocity isn't too great. So vertical speed 2 meters per second, that's more than enough to land Halrikerman on the surface of Minmus again, and we have all the wonderful new science stuff as reported by Science Alert. So X-ray diffraction scan. Let's see what wonderful things we'll discover. It's sampling a little bit. Analysis of the polar sample reveals number of hydrated silicate minerals, but little blah blah blah. You secretly wish the temperature were hot enough to cause you to sweat, and you pack extra ice cream for the occasion. Sounds of shifting and vibration detected under the surface. It is possible that the interior is not completely frozen, like seismic scan. Mystery goo. The goo seems to be doing an impression of a snow globe. Wonderful. Magnetometer. Whoa, the boom extends. Closer study reveals Minmus does indeed not generate a magnetic field. I think that we already had somewhere. So, let us see our laser surface scan. Surface here features little to distinguish it from the rest of the Minmus. Okay, gravity. Gravity answers is well, whatever. Keep the data. Crew report. It looks no different here than it did from far away. Well, that's deep. And EVA report and surface sample which remain. Mesmerizing aquamarine flats make a lot of whatever. Yeah. EVA report, and let's put down. So, surface sample. You see they go to form itself in an ice cream cone. Great. And EVA report. Keep the data. Okay. Well, we might as well plant a flag to indicate that we have successfully conquered the poles. So there you go, Haldry, proudly displaying the flag of GrunfWorks on the Minmus poles. Wonderful. Perfect. Okay, now time for a quick selfie. Smile. Yep, cool. And let us continue onwards. Oh yeah, and here I was walking a little bit front and back because this Umbra Space Industries capsule is so small that basically trying to get anywhere and just press F to connect, it's kind of hard, so I went a little bit back and forth and until I actually was able to grab it and get in. Perfect. Okay. And let us just now quickly see where is our next maneuver node. Oh yeah, and here I lost some footage because my game crashed. So sorry for that. I lost, I think, this hop. Yeah, now I'm at Highlands. So Mr. Igu, basically I'm now repeating all of the experiments which I did before. Well, let's see, magnetometer, and then we have, I think, 1 or 2 more hops before we go and rendezvous with our orbital vessel. So gather all that sweet science that we're gonna use to further our research. So laser surface, gravity, crew report, and EVA report. Minmus is actually an excellent place to harvest early science before actually unlocking the technologies needed to be able to go interplanetary. I'm not 100% convinced if I'll harvest the moon to that extent which I harvested Minmus, because going on every biome in moon, it can take a little bit. So I think we will eventually get there, but not now immediately forcing it. I'm thinking after this I will probably see if I can start slowly thinking and progressing towards a little bit more interplanetary missions, and maybe putting some bases or stations in the orbit around Kerbin, and maybe on Minmus as a first trial, or Moon even. We'll see. We can use maybe Moon's biomes as a testing grounds, maybe for some rovers or something. That still remains to be decided. So, get in and let us focus on our next. So, we're deleting the Highlands waypoint, and we are selecting our basically last hop, which is the flats. And I'm here weighing a little bit because I have only 733 meters per second of delta V. Whether or not I should do the hop or go straight for the orbit. But then again, I'm at around the poles, so I need to go there anyway. So we might come a little bit short on fuel, but we'll see. I'm kind of thinking that we will be running on fumes by the time we come back to Kerbin, but we'll see. Okay, by the way, I really like the design of this lander. If you want to see how it was built, I will actually post the link to the video of GrunfWorks Engineering where I was showing how to build it in pretty much not too much time accelerated fashion, so if you're interested you can get it yourself. I mean, if you will be interested to get the craft, just remember this is 0.90 version. I can and will, if you ask me to, upload it to the Kerbal X. I will probably not update it to 1.0 version though. That you can do by just repeating my video if you want to. Okay, anyway, we are now going for an orbital hop, and I've went a little bit too far ahead because I didn't think that Minmus will rotate that little. I was thinking that it will rotate more. So, but then again, it's just important that we end up in that Minmus lake anyway. So I'm now turning ever so slightly. Fortunately enough, it's easy to do that on Minmus. And I'm slowly making sure that I try to save as much delta V as possible, because I don't want this place to basically become our new colony. Like they said, there are no stranded kerbals, they're just newfound colonies. Well, I don't want to found a colony on Minmus just yet. So alright, slowly descending, trying to be as conservative as I can with the burn. Now we are down to 400 meters per second, which I think should hopefully be enough, but I think it will be a very close call. Okay, and at this point I'm thinking I'll probably won't be able to afford much more burn, but okay, burn a little bit more when we come down, and then stop. Burn and flip and flip, and hopefully decelerate as much as you can. A little bit maybe higher even on the speeds, but well, we're just gonna have to live with it. 1.5, okay. Hoppa. Here we have all that wonderful science again to collect. So, by the way, I probably have mentioned this before, but I think this exploration lander will be a nice Minmus hopper. I'm not sure if it has enough thrust to be on Duna, but it might be for Ike and definitely Gilly and those areas. It might prove to be useful, and I think I'll use it as a scanner or finder for the initial places to where I would place my refineries for carbonite maybe in the future or something. It can, and when we come to the point where we research carbonite, I might actually put on a drill and a small refining unit or something so that we can actually refill our monopropellant tanks, because then the actual use of the craft becomes much more useful anyway. So, Halri, what do you have for us? Laser surface, gravity, crew report, and I guess EVA report and the surface sample, and I think that would basically extinguish most of our biomes on Minmus actually. I'm not sure if I missed one. Well, if I did, I don't plan to come back just for the single one anyway. But yeah, this might be covered by probes or rovers, whatever. I thought initially on going on and building a rover, but then again this is Minmus. Driving a rover here might not prove to be the best solution. Whoa, Halry, what are you doing, man? Don't kill the craft because you're planting a flag, you know? Okay, so time to get back in and see if we have enough Delta V to really go home or not. I am, more to say, slightly concerned. We have a total of 311 meters per second, which is disconcerting to say the least. So now I'm just waiting until the craft passing comes in the correct orbit, and I think it will be time for us to leave. So this is it, guys, moment of truth. I'm burning for 90 degrees and I will be going for, I think, 15 kilometer roughly apoapsis, and I have to match this one, which is 30 by 30, which is roughly, or 35 by 35. So let's see, I have 149 meters per second more, so I have to be very sparing with my rendezvous here. So far we have 56 of Delta V, so we still have enough to at least circularize, and I'm here gonna just drop a quick save for the rendezvous, because I really am concerned that this might not go as well as I would hope it to be. But then again, our apoapsis is 33.6, so maybe we would be able to at least keep low periapsis, high apoapsis, and hopefully take it from there. So let's see. Now, small enough burn. Coming closer on it, and we have to be very precise. We don't have much Delta V for the corrections, so apoapsis at 32. Well, that's not gonna cut it. I need it to be higher, but I'm thinking I'm gonna use the RCS just to thrust it a little bit more, because I really need the apoapsis to be higher than the other craft. So this is 3450, and I'm thinking here in this maneuver node I will try to match inclination and also increase or decrease velocity to make sure that we rendezvous with the target craft. And I don't think we can actually do much, so I'm thinking almost wait for the next orbit, hopefully, and see how that will fare. Yeah, I'm here trying to fiddle with the node, so I'm actually thinking I'll probably just try and match inclination, and then I'll wait another orbit, so we'll see. It's a small enough burn, 9.9 meters per second of our total 89, I believe. So, or 80, I cannot read actually, I think it's 89. But yeah, so let's see. Maybe we just might have enough for a rendezvous, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Burning ever so slowly. Finishing with RCS. Okay. And now let's see when we would be actually able to rendezvous. So now I'm here thinking I will probably at the apoapsis or the periapsis. At the periapsis I'll do a maneuver to see if I can just slightly extrude my apoapsis. As I want my apoapsis to be, like I said, a little bit higher than the actual one, and then we will be going for matching the orbit. It's very tiny burns, but then again that's good because we don't have that much delta V anyway. So yeah. And I have to get down to the wire literally as close as possible. Okay. Small burn. Let's do it. Okay. I'm trying here a little bit to be as exact as possible. I think it should probably be good enough. I'm at least hoping it will be. Okay, and now at the apoapsis, let's see how much we need to burn to get those two markers aligned in place. So, okay, close enough, and it's only 3 meters per second burn, so we have 65 more. Wow, that is wonderful. So guys, we actually just might be able to do this. That's great. So let us, but it will not happen on this orbit, but on the next, which I'm perfectly fine with. I mean, the rendezvous will happen on the next orbit, the burn will be on this orbit. So only 3 meters per second burn, so we have to be really exact. It's been a while since I have performed an orbital rendezvous, so yeah, I hope I didn't get rusty. Okay, and we are close enough. So let us just add the nearest approach alert. I mean, I'm maybe overkilling it with these alarm clocks but when I press time accelerate, I'm so easy on missing these crucial windows, and here basically margin for error is null. It doesn't exist. So okay, pointing our craft prograde just to make sure that we align the target and our prograde marker to make sure that we're going towards the target. And our target relative speed is 12 meters per second of our total 58, so we have to make sure that we actually... Okay, I'm turning RCS, and now I'm thrusting backwards just to both put the prograde on the target marker and also arrest our vertical or our relative velocity. I'm trying to basically kill two bugs with one blow. And we're coming close upon it. 100 meters, 90 meters, and I think I will actually stop close but not too close, because I don't want to actually dock, because I'm thinking if I dock with it I'll try to return both of them to Kerbin and I won't definitely have enough delta V. However, if I leave this orbit, this exploration craft in the orbit, and I go EVA to the lander, then I might have enough delta V to actually get back home, and I can always reuse this craft maybe at some later stage in the orbit for various reasons. So, selfie time. Let us flip back, and time for Halrid to go on EVA and to go to the lander and hopefully home. So make sure that you take all the data, otherwise everything what we did was for nothing. Also take some spares in case something gets broken there. And where were we? Oh, yeah, there's our lander. I must say, I was expecting that this would be a rather boring episode, just hopping, but turns out this rendezvous and this running on fumes made it, at least for me when I'm playing it, much more exciting because I was constantly on my toes. So, yeah, let's see how we fare in terms of the return. But at least the rendezvous went well. So the question remains how much delta V we have here. And here we have 198 delta V to get back to Kerbin. So it's not really a stellar delta V, but I guess it will have to do. So, quick selfie, and I'm thinking, okay, so we have to eject towards Kerbin, and we have to make sure that we already from here plan for a low Kerbin apoapsis somewhere around 25-ish. So, and we have to do it soon, and we have to do it precise. So let me just quickly check. Kerbin periapsis. Okay, come on, stay there. Please, stay there. 172 meters per second. I'm getting slightly concerned. 55, 183 out of 198. Jesus. This will be very close. Wow. 27 and 184 out of 198. And we have to burn practically almost immediately. Like in 1 minute. So, Halvey, just make sure that you tell the engineers at the KSC to next time put a little bit more fuel. I mean, otherwise you might need to go out and push. It does work, I've done it before in my saves, but it's hardly the preferred propellant choice. So, okay, and now we're thrusting, and I thrusted a little bit short just because I wanted to see my periapsis, so I'm adjusting it live. 300, 200, 100, and oops, 26. Great, awesome. Sounds like we will be going home after all. Let us say goodbye to our Minmus exploration lander. It will remain in the orbit of Minmus until such time we come back and maybe start mining operations. Then we'll just need to refuel it. Okay. Great. Now our Kerbin periapsis is 21, which is good enough for me. And yeah, time to go back home. And here I was already getting worried that actually I was worried that Moon might screw up our return, but fortunately enough that whoa, I really don't want to say this yet. Okay, fine. Whew. This was a close. I mean, I'm not so good at estimating when I'm gonna pass by, so I really didn't want Moon to interfere, because that was the only step that could basically ensure that we never get back home again. Or that we might need to mount a rescue mission. So, Hallery, time to come back home, and I really hope that you have actually made your snacks at home, prepared for your return, because you are coming home. Unless something really terrible happens at landing, but I'm kind of hoping not. So let's see. Folding the solar panels, I mean, ultimately when they hit the atmosphere, we have a risk of them burning up. I don't really care that much because we're not playing with funds, but then again, no reason to be wasteful. And we are now starting to feel a little bit of the atmosphere, and our apoapsis is dropping nicely. We are still high in the atmosphere and we see mountains. Okay, I'm hoping we don't really land on the mountain, but yeah, we'll see. Burning up. Fortunately, since this is 090, the effects are purely cosmetical. These mountains are coming alarmingly close. Dare I say so myself. So, yeah, I'm starting to get a little worried. No, I'm definitely not gonna take the EVA report here. Hitting the chutes. Let's kill the SAS. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh dear. Slope 26 degrees. Wonderful. Okay, let's see what we can do. I'm thinking I'll fold one of the legs, hopefully. That should be able to arrest our velocity. Yeah, let's just fold the leg. So we'll land on 3 and come on. Mystery goo. And flipped. The moment I wanted to do an EVA, it flipped. Well, still, it could have been much worse. So, I boarded, EVA report, surface sample, EVA report, and I think it's time that we go into the ship and we recover our craft, see how much science we have actually gotten. Wow, 1,660. And Hallery, you have gotten so many ribbons. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on the end of the episode. I hope you liked the episode. Like if you liked it. And for more Kerbal Space Program content, make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.